So have you ever played a sport, especially on like a high school team or slightly more intensive than just a fun recreational sport? I was recognizing this week I had learned some really incredible lessons from playing softball that have helped me with my online course business, so I thought I'd share them with you today.
Welcome to the Course Creators HQ podcast, helping you navigate the latest techniques for creating and marketing online courses. And now, here is your host, Julie Hood.
So, you should know I have gotten a little obsessed in the past month or two, really focusing on how to get people results and trying to figure out what it takes to get somebody from where you are today to the actual results on the back end of doing a course or doing coaching or whatever it is that you're doing. And I've gotten a little obsessive about it. But as I was thinking back through, I realized that when I played softball, there were some really key lessons I learned through my many years of playing that I thought I would share with you today. So we're going to jump into those 6 lessons today. But first off, I wanted to tell you I'm doing a flash sale test. So here's what the test is. I have a set of 3 foundational courses that you need to have when you are setting up your online business to sell your course. And one of the courses is about doing email and how to do it easily and quickly. One of the courses is about having really effective sales pages. And then the third course is all about how to collaborate in joint venture so that you can get people to see what it is that you're offering. So you can see these are really essential. There's a lot of content in them. And I sell them normally for $497 a piece. And I thought, you know what? This week, I want to do a test. I want to see if the price point is what is holding people back. So I'm doing a flash sale the week of April the 25th through May the 2nd of 2023. So if it is before May the 2nd of 2023, you can check out this special offer. I will put the link in the show notes for you, or you can go to coursecreatorshq.com/launchpad, which is what I'm calling this, your course sales launch pad. We're actually going to work together for 90 days, and you're going to have an all-access pass and membership to see these 3 courses for the next 90 days as we start on May the 2nd and then work until August the 1st. And I want to see if more people jump in because, number 1, the price is so much less expensive. Number 2, I'm doing 3 months of weekly coaching. So this is like an incredible way for you to get some feedback and jump in and get my guidance along the way on these ideas. So if this even slightly intrigues you, it's only $67 a month. So it's a great price. If you are even slightly interested, please go check this out because I'm going to do this test. And if it sells like gangbusters, then we'll do more stuff at this price point. If it doesn't sell, if I don't get a lot of people interested in this special, then I'm going to go back to my normal pricing. But I wanted to just, you guys know, I love to do tests. I love to see what works, what doesn't. So we're going to do a week-long test to see if this gets a bunch of more people jumped in. Plus, it's going to help you get going and get your foundation in place over the summer where you're probably a little less busy and you can spend some time on these things. You know, when it's hot outside, we'll just work on our course businesses. Okay, so these 6 tough lessons from playing softball. Let me give you a little bit of history. So I started playing softball when I was 6 years old. And this was way back in the day, way before all of the club sports that kids play now. So this was way before that. But what had happened is one of my dad's good friends was going to coach the team. His daughter was a year older than me. They needed some more players. They let me start early because at the time I was 6 years old, but I was incredibly tall. And so they let me get started playing as a 6-year-old. on the team for the 7-year-olds. And I'll post a link on Instagram sometime this week to the picture of 6-year-old Julie in her softball uniform, because I was so proud of it at the time, so you can see. And then I ended up playing pretty much through high school. I believe I played freshman, sophomore, maybe junior year, but then I got injured. So I tore up my ankle, and that was the end of my softball career. But I loved it, and it was a really fun experience with my dad because I was a pitcher. So we had a lot of time together where he was my pitching coach and my catcher and all kinds of things. So I'll get into that a little bit more. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of history on. So this was a lot of years of playing this sport and learning some really good lessons that I recognized. I'm so excited that my parents used this to help teach me as a child what it really takes to accomplish things. So that's our number one lesson, and that was discipline. So it did require a decent amount of discipline to continue to play, to continue to practice. We would be, 95 degrees playing softball. I'd come home dripping wet because it was so hot, and there was the discipline of being part of the team, and we were going to play every time we had a game, it was part of being the team and just learning what that took to make that happen. So especially as a pitcher, I needed to be able to practice every single day. So the way we did this was every night after dinner, my dad would grab his catcher's mitt. We would go out in our front yard, and I had a rubber pitching plate set up for me and pitching rubber. And we would do 50 or 60 pitches every single night. And that discipline of doing that every single day was what helped me get better. But you could see, this happened over years and years and years. This was not something that happened immediately. We had a lot of years of doing this. And then when I got into high school, I had a high school coach, and, we were practicing every day after school. But that recognition, it's going to take you working on this every day in order to be good at it, was so, so essential. And then the second piece of this was I had a coach the whole time. So I had my dad, I had my softball coach when I was younger, and then I had my high school coach, and all of these coaches were there to help me get better and to help me figure things out and to point me in the right direction or away from the wrong direction. So similar thing with our online course businesses is you want to have a coach that's going to help you move forward and help you avoid some of the pitfalls and figure out where is it I need to go next. That's the most important thing I think that a coach can help you with, is figuring out where do I need to focus right now and what can wait until later. So make sure whoever you work with, that's one of the pieces of how they help you, is they help you narrow down. Because as an online course business, there are so many things that we can be doing, so many different places to play, so many different websites and things to learn and this and that. And you really want a coach to help you focus in and stay on track with what's most important for where you're at. And then, so lesson number 1 was the whole discipline around the daily practicing. Lesson number 2 was having coaches through the years. Lesson number 3, I sort of spoke to already, but it took years. Little 6-year-old Julie, she missed a lot of hits. She had a lot of strikes, but I got a little bit better as I got older with not only the hitting, but then when I started pitching, I got better at throwing strikes and striking people out. And it just came from doing it over and over and over again. And you may have heard there is a very famous author who talked about the minimum number of hours that it takes in order to become a master at a specific skill. And let me go grab that because I hadn't thought about it till just now. I want to go get that info for you. Okay, so the author was Malcolm Gladwell, and he wrote a book called Outliers. And inside the book, he talked about researching top performers in all kinds of sports and math and chess. And one of the things that he came up with was his research showed that the ones that were at the top, they had spent a minimum of 10 years or 10,000 hours working on what they were doing. And so the way this applies for your online course business is you want to be working with experts who have been at it for a while so that they have seen some of the things that can happen. Like, it's not essential that you always have them, but especially when you're at that place where you need somebody that understands the big picture and that can see the big pitfalls. When you get experts who've been at it for a while, like we had in softball, I had my softball coaches who had been playing for years and could help direct me. That's the same concept. So when that is where you are at in your business, make sure you're getting a hold of someone that has that level of experience. And the same sort of thing with softball. Like, it took me years to get better at the process and to hit that level of expertise that I was wanting. So that was number 3. It took years. Like, there wasn't really a good way to shorten that. It just was required to play well. As I grew and as I got older and got stronger, all of that helped. Okay, so lesson number 4 was that, and I hinted at this already, but we had very regular times when we would work on our skills and improve them. So for me and my dad, every night after dinner, it was time to go practice and pitch. For when I was playing softball, we had after school every day for an hour and a half or 2 hours. We would practice. If it was raining in high school, we would practice inside the gym. So you can imagine how fun that was, having softballs going flying through the gym. But the important part of this for you is there was very regular times that were set aside that we focused on, and we almost never broke them. So sometimes I will work with some online course creators who they're sort of interesting, but they can't quite get to that committed regular time. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the same time every day. It just needs to be regular times that you commit to, that you acknowledge, like, hey, this is important to me, and these are the hour, the 5 hours, the 10 hours every single week that I'm committing to practicing, improving, and working on my online course business. And I didn't realize at the time how essential that was to our success of having that regular scheduled time. But it really was important. And it's one of those lessons I'm so glad I have now, because I do the same sort of thing as I'm trying to work on something. I give it specific time on my calendar. Okay. And then number 5 is, I gotta be honest, there were some things that I just really did not do well. And one of those was sliding. When we were either trying to steal base, or if we were on base, somebody would hit the ball and we needed to run and slide so we didn't get tagged out. And this didn't come around until later, but let me just give you the picture here. So I am 5'10", barefoot. So put on some spiked softball shoes, and we're getting close to 6 foot. So getting 6 foot Julie down to the ground, sliding into a base is not a minor thing. And I will tell you, no matter how hard I practiced and worked at it and tried, I could not get good at it. My coach used to send me off when there wasn't something else to be working on. He's like, go practice your sliding. And honestly, I just never got good at it. When I would pitch, I would get better. The more I practiced, the better I got. But when I was sliding, I just never could figure it out, how to get like down to the ground without hurting every bone in my leg. So what would have been lovely, but we did not have, was if we could have had a pitch runner. So somebody else that could do the sliding for me. I'd hit the ball, get on base, then they would get on and do the running part of it. So the way this applies for your course business is there are probably things that you're just not very good at. And if you want to try to improve and get a little bit better, go for it. But wouldn't it be better to just hire a pinch runner to step in and take care of it for you? That pinch runner is the one who already knows how to do it. They probably have a natural talent. They're really good at it. So this could be everything from editing your videos to sending out your emails, any of those tech things that just get in your way and stop you. Get yourself a pinch runner and pay for somebody to do those things that you don't do well or that you're just not very good at. So that was lesson number 5. And then lesson number 6 is kind of the bigger picture that I'm so thankful to my parents for helping me understand. And that is the accomplishment of a goal. So there was this just kind of long-term expectation of Julie likes softball. They let me try it when I was 6. And if I had hated it, that probably would have been the end of it. But I loved it. I loved being on the field. I loved my coach and my players. It was a great experience. And so I just kept doing it. And so that long-term accomplishment of the goal of being able to, when I got to high school, I got to be on the varsity team and I got to play. And then it was just this goal of recognizing not only was it a talent, but it was one of the things that I liked to do. And so we put in the long-term effort to make that goal happen. So similarly, I think there is a challenge sometimes with online course businesses because sometimes we see these folks who will jump on and they're like, woohoo, I made $1 bazillion on my first launch, and kind of this instantaneous success that I don't see as often as not everyone gets that. Sometimes it's going to take you a while to get to that level of success. And I think we need to speak to that more. So that's part of the reason for this podcast episode is I wanted to really acknowledge, it may take you longer to get going, but the piece of it that I want you to carry with you is get that foundation in place right from the beginning. So you're going to have your email newsletter to capture your leads. You're going to have that sales page that you've worked on to really be and really help it convert. You're going to start figuring out who can I collaborate with in order to help get the message out about my courses and how can I support them. So we've got this really good collaborative joint venture relationship. So that's a couple different reasons why this episode I hope was helpful for you is I want you to get that foundation, set that long-term goal, and then jump in and enjoy the process. So even when it's hard, even when it's difficult, there are some fun things along the way. You get to meet some incredible people and get that satisfaction of having accomplished the goals and the milestones you set along the way. So I hope this was a little bit fun. Be sure to check the Course Creators HQ Instagram account and you can see 6-year-old Julie playing softball in the weeds. And I hope I get to see you for this special test that I'm doing this week. The 3 projects for 90 days with the weekly coaching on email, on joint ventures, and on sales pages. It could be really fun. So hope you can come join us. And thanks so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed this episode. And I will talk to you next week on the next show. Take care.